If you've been following along so far with the development of my puzzle game for the Playdate, you'd know that it's getting close to being fully completed at this point, with level creation and polish being the main things left. So, let's finish that up and get it released. While the gameplay is pretty much done, I did want to add in one extra variation to the current puzzles. I wanted to be able to add in walls to levels to add in a bit of extra variety. So I modified the level creation script so that I could use black when designing levels to indicate where a wall should be placed, and then my level loader makes sure that each marked square puts in a special wall tile instead of a normal grid square. When those walls are loaded, I just make sure to store the position in the puzzle grid, and whenever the player moves, I just make sure to check that the new position isn't already occupied by a wall tile. Now that gives me 3 new level types to choose from when picking from the menu, but speaking of menus, that looks a bit different from the last time you saw it. I decided to break out the levels into different sections instead of just having them all together in one big list, just so you don't have to scroll so much when trying to pick which level to play. While the level select menu is done, I still need to get a main menu implemented. But to do that, I need to come up with a name first. I think that since this is a recreation of the mobile game Flow, it needs to bear some resemblance to that. So after a lot of brainstorming, surveys, and focus group testing, alright, so something like Flow Stream. That's good. I landed on Stream as the title. Now, on to actually making the menu. I started off by creating some basic elements like the large title and some playtext at the bottom of the screen. I then made a large pattern background of the symbols used in the game, and I made an animation for some of the paths coming in and leaving the screen that will loop around. Finally, by adding in a bit of motion to both the title and the background, the menu's complete. My UI design is one thing that definitely needs work, but by layering in a bunch of basic elements, you can create a pretty decent menu in a short time. The main thing I found is that you really just want to avoid a lot of static elements. Just adding a little bit of motion can make a really big impact on the overall feel of the menu. At this point, I sent it off to some people for playtesting, and overall there were some performance issues, but nothing nearly as bad as what I experienced when releasing Reflector, which is expected because there's a lot less going on the screen when compared to an action arcade game. The main problem was coming from all the particles I was creating on a level being completed. So instead of doing that at runtime, I simulated those particles on a blank background, captured that, and then turned it into a sequence of images that'll just draw whenever I need it. You do lose some of that variety and randomness from each of those particle spawns, but it's not really that big of a deal. I also had a small amount of frame drops when scrolling through the level menu, so that's why you now see some of those bars at the top and bottom, which is just a way to reduce the amount of the screen that I need to redraw each frame. Big thanks to Squid for helping me out with some of the performance testing on an actual device. If you do anything with the Playdate, go check out his channel, though I'm sure you're probably already aware of him. From some other testing though, one of the main things I heard was that people wanted a way to just hold down the button and make a long line of paths, so I got that working. I also created a level tracker when you open up the menu to show you how many levels you've completed, just to give you a bit of extra incentive to complete them all. After putting together a quick launch card image and hover animation, the only thing left to do was create the levels. So I just have to get to work and make all of them. Man, these levels took so long to make. Even though I created all these tools to ease the process, it still took forever. To put it into perspective, all the bug fixing, menu design, performance changes, wall implementation, and the ability to hold down a direction to place paths took me about 12 hours of work. But just drawing out these levels took me about 20 to 25 hours. I'm happy with taking the time on that though, because I ended up with a grand total of 465 levels, which should provide a lot of hours of content for people to get through. Now, I just need to create the itch page and this game's ready to go. It's out now and for the low price of free, so there's no reason not to get it. I hope you enjoy it, and who knows, I might be adding some more levels to it at some point. I already have plans for my next project, which will be a bit bigger, so videos on that will be coming soon. Anyways, thanks for watching.